on now. Up next we have Ryan Wilson. Ryan is editor-in-chief of Literary Matters. You can find his recent work in Best American Poetry, 5 Points, Hopkins Review, Sewanee Review, Yale Review, and elsewhere. And with that, I give you Ryan Wilson.
Hey everybody. Good to be here. Thank you, Stefan. Thank you, David. So I'll just say 4 things for you all. I'll start with an old one. Dog people in the house? Like dogs?
Yeah. A lot of dogs.
Woo! Like dogs. As you will soon discover, I am a creative genius. And so I have called this poem for a dog genius-like, for a dog. Very creative. You'd wake us up. That shrill, insistent bark driving away whatever dreams had fogged our vision. And we'd rise in the true dark, wondering just what exactly, cataloged by canine instinct under threat, was there. What jogger, cat, or dog it was that dogged you from your drowse beside the easy chair and summoned your yapped pandemonium. 9 times in 10, it was just empty air. Some ghosted scent you sniffed. Dumb. You were dumb. Like all dogs. Snuffling up to snakes, afraid of mice. When we said, come, you wouldn't come. You capered when commanded to play dead. And when we wanted most to be alone, you'd offer up that imbecilic head until we crowned your pity with a bone. Our lives took on the shape you spun from need, the harried ronder of routine. You've gone, the house is quiet, and we've been freed forever from the never-ending chores your tail entailed, the scrubbing where you peed, the hunting stain removers down in stores. What's hardest are the peaceful hours we wanted so much, when you were scratching up the doors and howling at some phantom thing that haunted the world without some threat we couldn't see that you were desperate to have confronted. Now, you're part of that present unity of absences, the living move-along, in which what was, what will, and what can't be dance in a ring to a triumphant song we don't have ears to hear or heart to see. We sleep now, perfectly, and much too long. So that's from The Stranger World, the first book. This guy, Proteus Bound, just out a couple of months ago. There are copies for sale outside where you can just steal them, whatever. You're not going to buy them, I'm not kidding. So I thought I'd do a couple of short ones from here. This is Homer to the middle of the 20th century, half a dozen languages. There's one thing of Portuguese in there. So it's really 7 languages, but I'm not going to count that. And I'll start with a poem from a little book called the Anacreontia. Anacreon of Teos was a 3rd century BC poet. And there are just little fragments of him left. But then everybody loved his poems because they're about wine and ladies and love and roses and this kind of stuff. So everybody imitated him, and it makes up this book, which is basically imitations of Anacreon from people dating from about the 3rd century BC to the 9th century AD. So Anacreon was important to, say, the Pleiad, Dubois and Ronsard and those folks, as well as to Robert Herrick, Richard Lovelace, and on up to Goethe and Byron, even translated him. But nobody likes him anymore. He sort of disappeared. I think he's awesome. So you're going to get this one. This is number 32. Upon this lovely lotus laid, underneath soft myrtle shade, I'll drink till all my cares recede. With love himself, my Ganymede. A wagon wheel. This life rolls round, hurries us into the ground, where we will lie, when lie we must, a handful of indifferent dust, life loosened from the splintered bone. Why should tears perfume a stone? Why pour the dust a cup of wine? Perfume me, while this life is mine. Lay wreaths of roses on my brow, and summon me my best girl now. Let me reel in the dizzy thrill of this life's waltz, and dance until the night is over, and I'm led, love, where the whirling spirits tread the spectral dances of the dead. You have a choice. Would you like to hear Horace, or would you like to hear George Chockle? Do we want an Austrian expressionist, or do we want the great lover of the old rea mediocritas? Choice? Votes for Horace. Okay, votes for Chockle. I'm hearing Chockle. I guess it's Chockle. Okay. So Chockle, he became famous because of Bly and James Wright and those wonderful folks translating him sort of mid-century. And they're doing mostly his later stuff. Chockle actually started off in a very straightforward kind of symbolist mode, much like his contemporary George Hyde, modeled on Baudelaire. And of course, Baudelaire woke up every morning and said his prayers, according to him, to God, his mother, and Edgar Allan Poe. So this one, I think, there's a sort of relationship. This is called The Ravens from Chockle. And it's a short little number. Over the earth's dark corners, swiftly go the ravens at midday, their shrieking shrill. Their shadows sweep across a grazing doe, and sometimes they're seen glumly sitting still. Oh, how they trouble the brown quietudes of a field, wrapped in its own private trance. A woman snared by grave, foreboding moods. And sometimes one can hear their raucous rants around a carcass sniffed out in some glade. And northward, suddenly, they set their flight, and like a funeral procession, fade away on winds that quiver with delight. So the last one I will say is from my next book, Ghostlight. A young child, another on the way, things look very bad. He's now fine, so all is well, but we didn't know then. And so I wrote this poem, which is in genre a propempticon, or a poem for the journey, sort of the opposite of a valediction, right? John Donne, the valediction says, goodbye, I'm leaving. The propempticon is saying, you're going, so here's a poem for you on the journey. And in form, this is what I half-jokingly call the Will Sonnet, which is my own goofy sonnet form. So this one is called The Problem. Some bitch. Some rattle ice in stormy cocktails. Some read or stare into their hands, artificial glow. The good-natured, whom no one likes, make conversation. Kids kick seat backs. Babies scream. This is the part where you find out exactly who you are, as much as you will ever know, crammed like seeds into this invaluable lemon, with all the dreamed escapes you cannot help but dream. There's something wrong, some unspecified glitch, but nobody will say just what it is keeping you stranded among strangers here on the hot tarmac, waiting for some pronouncement, some true words that will explain your prolonged absences from the air above the clouds, from flight, the oceanfront destination everyone's anticipating. It will not last forever, your time on the ground. At some point, there will come a departure. Then, clouded skies will recede, like sunshine, like questions, like your toddler's sticky touch, and you will be wholly invisible to the earthlings you love, who love you. An arrow shot by some blind archer beyond the endless traffic and grocery store pharmacy lines, long-distance calls, and doctors wincing thoughtlessly. For now, take solace in the presence of the known world's flawed, forgettable, flightless things. Bless the engine's troubled part, the brief and inexplicably beautiful problem with the wings. Thanks.